TG MotoRider. You know, once in a while you come across something that over-delivers. Really over-delivers. With a 57-inch wheelbase, very stable. See, I'm doing 60 right now. Let's see. At 60 miles an hour, I'm in fourth. There, I rev match third. Third, I'm doing 4,500 RPMs. That's not even, that's dead middle of the rev range. Do I do second? There's second gear at 60, revving out at 6,000 RPMs, and still lots of room to go. I mean, the overlap's amazing. You know, second gear, even when you're torquing it up. TG MotoRider, my 2008 Kawasaki Ninja ZX 14. I just bought the GSX 1000, and then I decided to get this. I added the handlebar risers, and that actually makes a big difference, especially if you're out of light and you're kind of chilling on it. So we go to second, and look at the pull you're still getting. Look at the pull you're getting in second gear at 50 miles an hour. And that's not even at 6,000 RPMs, barely there. You still have another 5,000 RPMs to go. I'm telling you that the overlap on these gears is just awesome. This particular bike has no restrictions. It's all been taken off. And it's got the Voodoo exhaust, which is why it sounds like it wants to punch somebody square in the face. If you get one with the Voodoo exhaust, your neighbors are going to hate you. There's second. It doesn't take long. 0 to 60 if you really get on it. About 2.5 seconds. This bike has 190 horsepower. Does the quarter mile in 9.7 seconds, I believe. It has a top speed of 200 miles an hour, unrestricted. Alright, there's 6th gear at 70, and it's in the low rumbling range. You hear it kind of sputtering. It doesn't like the low end. You might want to save 6th gear for if you're planning on doing something crazy. But here we're doing about 75, and humming along at 3,800 RPMs. The engine red lines at 11, goes up to 13,000. So, why the heck would you buy a Ninja ZX 14? Well, there's a lot of reasons. Number one, it's remarkably comfortable, and it's an extremely stable platform. It's 38 degrees right now, but I've had this bike out last week when it was 29 degrees, and the fairings keep the wind off you really pretty well. I put this touring windscreen on from Zero Gravity. It's doing a great job of keeping the wind pretty much off my face. Alright, so we're at 50 miles an hour. Let's pop it down to second. Oh yeah. The overlap on these gears are very, very generous. This is an 08. No ABS, no traction control, no slipper clutch, just you and really what's left of your common sense. It is fun to give it a little tweak and a little hammer, but that doesn't mean that's the way you have to ride it. You can just enjoy it, know that you've got the genie in the bottle if you need it. It's got a lot of torque, and the overlap on the gears is amazing. Second gear can get you up to 75. So when I did my 0 to 60 runs, I was just going first to second. It's got a really good air intake in the front. Inline 4, 1400cc motor. They call this the Hayabusa killer. I've been doing a lot of research on it. Now, I sat on a Hayabusa, and my hip flexors started screaming at me. I sat on an H2, and my hip flexors and my lower back, I mean, I'm not young anymore. I've been doing stunts for 30 years, and trust me, I'm not young anymore. But what I love about this bike is just the effortless torque. It's an extremely stable platform. The suspension is not nearly as bumpy as my GSX 1000. It's a much more comfortable ride than my GSX 1000. The 0 to 60 is a little better than my GSX 1000. But I will say the GSX 1000 does seem to corner a lot lighter than this. But this is 600 pounds wet, which is pretty heavy for a sport bike. Because I know in the future you're not going to find these. You're just not. Right around 4,000 RPMs, that's when this motor seems to wake up. That's when it seems to want to come to life. Okay.
Where's the daggone kickstand?
You know, the way this thing manages itself in the corners, the way this thing manages itself on the highway at speed. You're gone. You know, it's not really a, this is not a newbie bike. This is definitely not a teenager bike. There's too much going on here. You know, if my 16-year-old son said, "Dad, I want a ZX14, I'd be like, no. You can have a Ninja 650, and if you don't crash that, we'll talk about the ZX14. This bike is actually so fast. When I pulled off on that light back there, I went around town, and when I came back, I ran into myself still sitting at that light. That is how fast it is. This bike is very deceptive in terms of how fast you think you're going. Very deceptive. And I don't know whether it's because of the long wheelbase or what it's got going on, but you're actually going a lot faster than you think you are most of the time. These rearview mirrors, super functional, super stable. There is no vibration at all on this thing at high speeds. No vibration. Dead steady. It's not twitchy, it's not weird, it's not goofy, it's just dead, rock, steady, effortless power. Corners like a beast, corners wonderfully. I'm used to cornering a VTX 1800 and an 830-pound Vulcan Nomad. So when you corner this, or my GSX 1000, when you corner these sport bikes, you're like, oh, wow. And it's got, you've got lightning in a bottle here. Don't open the lid unless you're ready. I don't know if it's reading on camera, but this bike is much louder than my VTX 1800 with the Cobra pipes. Alright, we're going to take it off-road and see how she does. Seriously, I'm taking it off-road. It'll be fine. I'll avoid the potholes. With a good head on my shoulders and a judicious throttle hand, I'm sure she'll be just fine. It's a Sunday morning in the winter, and I'm the only Nimrod out here. So you got a 5.8 gallon tank. You got about 150 mile fuel range. The engine braking is excellent. I think I could just stop this bike completely just by engine braking. Oh yeah, it's pretty down here. I probably don't have to tell you that, but if there's any new riders and you're deciding to get a ZX14 and then you decide you're going to hammer it, lay over the tank. Just get your weight on the front of it and squeeze your knees around the tank real hard. And hold on, because this will throw your happy butt right off onto the highway. But I don't care. Here's the thing, I'm absolutely in love with this thing. When I saw an opportunity to get 190 horsepower for under $4,000, I took it. I traded a bike. They gave me $3,000 for the bike plus another couple $100, and I was there. I had my ZX14. What you probably want to do is come from underneath. Start low and throttle a little more until you get used to it. You know, like, you'll think the gear is done, and then it'll just pull real hard near the end. Like second gear and third gear. You could ride this bike all day in second gear if you really wanted to, and just hum around town in second gear and you'd be fine. Let's just recap. 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds. 9.7 second quarter mile. Unrestricted top speed of 200 miles an hour. 190 horsepower. And it's comfortable. And you're getting all this and still managing 32 miles per gallon. That's my review of the Ninja ZX14. This is a 2008. I guess just wow, you know. That's my review as a professional reviewer. If you can find one used, get one. Just be careful. Judicious with the throttle. Come from underneath. Get used to the throttle before you go crazy with it. And ride with some sense and you'll be fine. But it's a great bike. And it's going to be a great sport tourer. I'm going to figure out the saddlebag situation. Touring windscreen's already on it. Got the risers. This thing's great. Been a great winter rider so far. TG MotoRider. Signing off. Oh, there's that sun.